So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can build an entire n8n AI agent for your lead qualification. And I'm using the example of a real estate agency where we imagine we are running Facebook lead ads and we're collecting new leads through the form. We're going to use that data and run it through our AI agent, and we have conversations with our leads on WhatsApp. So by the end of this video, you're going to be able to build your own custom AI agent to automate your WhatsApp conversations and qualify leads much better and much faster. So what we're going to build is a two-part workflow, which is we want to capture all the leads from our Facebook ads and then send them a WhatsApp message. So your leads would receive a message, something like that. So I'm going to open my WhatsApp here. This would be your business account, of course. And so the idea is a person seeing your ad on Facebook submits the form. In the form, you're asking for the phone number. And so then we can start the whole automation and start a conversation with them on WhatsApp. So here I'm sending a message, and then we have the second part of our workflow, which is to receive incoming messages and then have an AI agent process the information and reply. So let's look how we're going to set this up. So in n8n, we're going to create a workflow, and we use the first trigger, which is Facebook lead ads trigger. So that's basically already a pre-made node that every time you receive a form submission from your Facebook ad, you will get the data. So I'm just going to skip this part. What is important is, of course, you are probably already running campaigns on Facebook. I'm just launching this here to show, and you have a form. So this all needs to be set up, of course, but I'm going to skip this part and just mock the data. So, and to keep it very simple, what we receive from Facebook is the name and the phone number. So I save this, and now what we just need to do is we're using a node from a tool called WhatsAble. So that's another third-party tool that I'm using to handle all my automation for WhatsApp. It has a lot of features that help me to be more productive and organize those chats. We're going to see more details very soon. So back to my n8n setup here, what I need to select is the send WhatsApp message node. So you need to create a new credential in n8n, and actually all you need to do is, once you created an account for their notifier system, so that's the name of the tool by WhatsAble, you go to API key, you copy your API key. I'm going back to the setup of n8n. I paste it here, I save it, and good to go. Let's just call it demo so I can organize this better. Okay, cool. So setup. Now, that's all we need actually for the first part of the solution. We need the trigger and we need to send a message. And so you can see, now let's go through the setup here. This is my account. We sent messages, so that's already correct. We sent a WhatsApp message, that's correct. And now the product, so this is a product from WhatsAble, is either send a template via the notifier system or send a non-template. And this is a detail, but because I am starting the conversation with the person, Meta doesn't allow me, or WhatsApp doesn't allow me to send any kind of message. So I need to create a template in order to do that. So the cool thing is, in WhatsAble, I have my templates organized here. You can create new templates and you can view them. So you can see I have my demo form submission template here. And if you preview this, you will see that's the type of message they will receive. And by the way, this is a dynamic value. So I will need to get the data from my Facebook form to add the name there in order to personalize the message. So back to my setup here. So we sent a template via notifier. The recipient is the phone number. So this is data that I need to get from my Facebook ad form. The template is this one here. Let's make it fixed, sorry, template. And my variable is the name, is the first name. So that's hopefully also something I can get from my Facebook ad. And here we are. So that's it. That's the first part. Now, if we execute this whole workflow, then that's it, actually. Someone submits the form, it gets triggered, we send a WhatsApp message via this tool. So you can see I just received this message, and that's already the first part of the solution. And for some, in fact, it might already be good enough to say, I want to have a conversation on WhatsApp. It's the #1 communication tool. And then from there, I can take over and handle the conversations manually. Now, I do want to add a bonus tip here, how you can schedule follow-up messages if your leads haven't responded in a certain time frame yet. And the nice part is we have this already pre-configured by WhatsAble. So I'm going to show you how you can do that. We have our module to send our template message to our new Facebook leads. Now, what if they don't respond in, let's say, 1 day or 24 hours? That's pretty easy. So what's really nice is I can take my WhatsAble node, and there's this option called schedule a WhatsApp message. So we will add this here. I have my WhatsApp account. We send the message, schedule a WhatsApp message, exactly. And then what we're going to do now is we send another template message via the notifier system. So that is just in case the person, you reached out to that person, the person hasn't responded to your message, and you just want to increase the chances. So you want to send a follow-up message. Since we haven't started since the person hasn't responded yet, we have to send another template message. So what I would do is I would go to notifier systems and I would create another template, which I would call follow-up message. I would, write my text, use the placeholder again for the name, and maybe there's other information I want to include in the message. And then in my workflow, I would use that template. And let's just do this real quick. So again, I would use the phone number. We have to use the phone number here from our Facebook ad. And the template, I'm going to use the same template now, just as it's a demo. And don't forget to use the data from your Facebook form. And so now here comes the part. So how you do this is you are gonna schedule a message to send again after some time, right? And so since when we create this needs to be dynamic, meaning that the date will always change, we need to add an expression here. And how you can do that is, so you open the curly brackets, and then you can see that second option here, which is called now. So you can, and what is nice in n8n is you can always see the result as of right now. So you can see the current date and timestamp in my drop-down window here. Now what we need to add is just click the dot button, and we want to add plus. So we want to add something to now. So now we have plus, and here we can see, just like in an Excel formula you would write, we can see a few options. So what we can do, for instance, is we add 1 day to this expression. Sorry, that was the wrong formatting. Great. So now, again, now you can see that it added 1 day to my current time. So basically 24 hours later, this message would be sent. And so that's how you can do that with the expressions. You can see there are other examples. You can also do hours, for instance, and then do 28 hours. So that would be sent tomorrow at 4:11 p.m. And now here comes the part. What WhatsAble already solves for me is that I don't need to write complex conditions now. What if the person has already responded? Then I don't want to send this template message. And so we need to go down here to that enable conditions toggle. And here in the field option, we have a few settings already coming from WhatsAble. So that's really handy. And what I like is this one. If the person did not send any message in the last 24 hours. So we just reached out, and then 1 day later, for instance, we want to send another message. So let's just make sure the person did not send us any message. And what you need to set as the operator is that this value exists. So that's this option here, and we're good to go. We want to add a bit of intelligence here to our system. And that's why we have the second part of our setup in n8n, which is our AI agent. So before we do that, what we need is to set up a trigger from WhatsAble. That's in the trigger section, and we add this. So on incoming messages, we receive the event here. So again, you will need to create a new credential. You can choose this one here for our purpose. So notify a system incoming message. You need to get back to notify a system. You go in the API key section, and again, you copy and paste your API key in n8n. And this is for testing purposes more. So actually, let's skip this for now. You won't really need this. And we're saving connection tested successfully. So great. Now WhatsAble is connected with our trigger, our n8n system. And so we can actually be informed whenever we receive a message. So the rest is fine. That makes sense to me. Let's just organize this better. So that's our that's the second part of our system. No, so the first one is first touch point, and then we want to have conversations with an agent. So what we need is we need to go to the AI agent node and set up our AI agent. And we need to do that in a few steps. So first of all, for the prompt, we're defining it by ourselves below in this free text field. And I will write something like reply to the user's last message. And then here we will add the message as soon as we have the data from WhatsAble. Well, let's go ahead with this AI agent first before we connect it with WhatsAble. So very important, you need to connect a chat model or a large language model with it. You can have, when you go here, you have a list of very, common options. And in my example, I want to use Anthropic. I want to use the Claude Sonnet 4.5 model. What you need to do is you need to create a new credential for Anthropic. So just Google, it's super simple. Yeah, you just Google something like Anthropic API key, and you will go to the developer console, and here you created your account, and then you can create an API key, and you might have to add a bit of credit there, a couple of euros if you're testing this out. And so then we're using Claude to generate those messages. I'm not going to do this now, so I close this because I already have my Anthropic account. So that looks fine to me. Now we have everything we need. So now we should be able to execute this workflow. So now it's listening for incoming events. I can go into my WhatsApp chat and send a message, and it should now receive the message via WhatsAble. And yeah, okay, sorry. One thing missing is here in our webhook URL. This is very important. You need to add your webhook URLs from n8n in the WhatsAble system. So I'm going now back to notify your systems. When you click here, you go open the developer console. You can add an endpoint, and then all you need to do is just paste that webhook URL. So this was my testing webhook URL. When you are done with this n8n workflow, you also need to add your production URL. So this is just for WhatsAble to know, hey, there's a new message. Here, I want to ping you and send you the data. So now let's go back to n8n. We added this. So now we should actually, if we execute this workflow and we send a message, hey, oh, sorry, this is coming from another a workflow that I still have active, but let's turn this off. So now, cool, that worked. Anthropic was used, the AI agent executed. We can see this with the green circles. So now our AI agent has the connection to our LLM. What we need to do is, it doesn't have a lot of information right now. So by the way, let's do that again here, just execute this. Okay, so back in our AI agent, since we executed the previous node, which is our WhatsAble trigger, we can now fill in a bit of data here. So in my first prompt to Anthropic, I'm saying reply to this user's last message, and the last message from the user is this value here, last message of user. We paste it here. That makes sense? And there we go. That's good enough for now. Now, what is important is this is an AI agent. We're using Claude, but we don't have a lot of context that we're giving to this agent. And this is what we're doing here. This is the system prompt where we actually say, who are you? What's your task? What kind of questions are you going to ask? What style? This is a WhatsApp conversation, and so on. So just in order to save some time, I'm going to copy this from my other agent. Okay, so in my final workflow, you can see I have this long text here, which is my system prompt, and you can check on n8n's official YouTube channel. They have a video about prompting best practices. So you want to give it a role, you want to have instructions. For instance, I say, start by greeting the user and asking for their name, gather 2 essential details, which is the minimum number of bedrooms and their budget. I want to keep it simple, just as an example. And then there's some other tasks that we can talk about later. So let's copy this and go back to our agent that we're currently building. And we paste this here. You can open this in this nice preview. And great. So that is my system prompt. I can save this. And now let's close it with the outgoing message. So we want to send a message back to the user with the help of our AI agent. So we use our account, we send a message, we send a WhatsApp message, and we send a non-template via notifier message. So important because now we already received an answer from the user. So we are free to send any type of message. That's just what this means. So what we need to do then is from our WhatsAble trigger, we take the phone number, we drag and drop it here. We want to send a text message, and then for the message content, we take what we get from the AI agent that hasn't run yet. So let's run the AI agent, and then we can tell our WhatsAble node what to do with this data. So the agent ran. Now we can see we have this output object here. We can place it and we're good to go. So if we run this, we should be able to already get some answers from our AI agent. So we send a message. The agent works. It's using Anthropic and sending me back the message. You can see, hello Christian, welcome and thank you. To get started, could you please tell me the minimum number of bedrooms you're looking for? So that is coming from the system prompt, right? Now in my AI agent setup, I want to add something else to my user message, which is how I prompt the AI, which is I don't want to just send the last message of the user. I also want to send the whole conversation history between the bot and the user, which is data that is already nicely stored by WhatsAble. So we have this conversation paragraph here, which we can drop here. Now we just want to say, here is the conversation history between you and the user. All right. So now our AI agent has like a system prompt and has instructions, and every time we prompt it, we actually send the conversation history. So it has enough context about the chat. And yeah, I think for our second part of the workflow, that is already it. So we have, remember again, we have our Facebook leads that every time we have a new submission, we send the first message from a template. And then when the person responds on WhatsApp, we have our AI agent qualify that lead. So that alone is already great because it's handling all the conversations for me and it's figuring out which person is more relevant and which not. And now what is nice is in WhatsAble, going back to their interface, there is this chat feature where you can see all your conversations with users. So see that this is the last message that I received on WhatsApp. This is coming from here. Now, what I can do is and this is a really nice feature by WhatsAble, I can always decide if I want to have an AI assistant handle the conversation or if I want to take over the conversation and write messages. So in other words, what this means is my n8n workflow is active right now, but if I want to stop doing that, then I click here, and now even though I receive messages from the person, nothing will happen. I will see this as an unread message and I can come here and reply, hey there. So let's do this real quick. Now, what I want to show you as well is how much flexibility we have and how we can add even smarter skills to our AI agent. And what I want to do now is, let's imagine let me switch the view here. Let's imagine we are having a spreadsheet, a Google Sheet with all information about our available properties. Yeah, we have some columns here, which is the title, the location, and then even an image of our real estate properties. But now what I want to do is in n8n, I want the AI agent to answer all the questions, which in my case is just how many bedrooms and what's your budget. And as soon as I have that information, I want to start proposing some properties that could be matching to the user's needs. And so how we're going to do that is the following. We go and add a tool node here, and we are looking for Google Sheets tool. You need to connect with your Google account. I already did that. And now the operation is to get all rows, because I just want to have the agent decide, okay, I want to open this Google Sheet and I will look at all the rows and then find something that is interesting for the person. So then in the document, I use my spreadsheet called houses demo example, and the sheet is this one here. So this is actually data coming from my Google Sheet, and that's it. That's already the tool. Now, what we haven't looked at yet is that in my system prompts, at some point I'm giving specific tasks. So here, number 4, once you have the user's requirements, access the Google Sheet named Get Properties. So I just need to make sure that this is called correctly to make it even better. To find all entries, identify and select properties that match the user's needs for bedrooms and budget. Always just present one property. So again, it's a bit simple, but I want to show you how this works. So our tool, let's rename this into get properties. So our tool is now connected. And what else I want to do now is, and here it gets a little more technical, but I want to show you the power of such AI agents here, is I want to send an image with the message when our agent has decided that we have all information and now we can make a suggestion basically. And the way we're going to do that is the following. So let's disconnect this real quick. What I need to add is another WhatsAble node, which is again to send a message. And you can see resource message, send a WhatsApp message, that makes sense. But in the non-template via notifier option, you have the message type, which is, you can see audio messages, documents, images, and so on. So in that case, I want to send an image message. I want to send an image message to the person, and I want to send it with an image URL. So that is the technical part here. Now, in order to do that, we need to change a few things in our AI agent. And what it is you open back the configuration. Now you have this toggle here, which is called required specific output format, which is a feature from LLMs where you say, instead of just having a raw text coming out, I want a specific structure as an output. When you click that output parser button here, it already presents you with a solution. Now you go here to this structured output parser. See how I just clicked it? It added it automatically to the right place in my agent. And now what I'm going to do here is just quickly write a JSON example of the data that I want as an output from the LLM. Okay, so what we have here now is, instead of having this text, this is what I want from my AI agent as an output. So we have the first property called message. Here an example, hey there. So this is basically going to be the WhatsApp text message. But then there's another field called image URL. So this is hopefully going to be the image URL from my Google Sheet, and the budget. So how much does the person, like what's the number the person gave me? So we can also do something with that. And now, in order to use that new structured data, we need to run the agent again, just for us in order to have the new structured output that we can then reuse in our WhatsAble nodes. So the agent ran, you see the output parser was used. So if we connect this now to, this is our standard reply. If we connect this now to our reply, for instance, we can see that now the AI agent, as our previous node, has new sub values from our output, which is a message, image URL, and budget. So those are empty, but we have the message. So what we need now is to change this from the generic output to our message field. So that is always going to be the message that we're sending to the user. And the cool part now is we also want to add an image message. So we call this send property. We use our account here to the phone number. The phone number is coming from our trigger again. So we take the phone number. The message type is an image, and the URL will be in this field. So no magic here. Yeah, I just said, please give me this type of data, and the AI agent will decide when is the moment to send the image URL, which is probably going to be the moment it's proposing a property for me. And in the caption, so the caption is the text below the image, we're gonna write the message and we save this. So last detail, we don't want to send both messages at the same time. That doesn't make sense. So what we need to add is a condition here. This is called the if node, where we say when we only want to send the image when our agent is actually proposing the property. And how do we define that? We define that by saying you are sending an image URL along. So when this value, image URL, it's a string, is empty, so there is no image, then we want to send a standard message. So if that is true, that's already correct. We send the reply to the user. If that is false, we want to do this and remove that connection. If that is false, so it's not empty, then we want to send the property. And here we go. That's it. There's this button here to tidy up. Great. So that's our entire system. We have our lead capturing and then first outreach message to then capturing all messages and having the AI agent qualify the lead and proposing a property. So I think it's time to test this now. So I'm gonna trigger this on, turn this on, hey there. It's just a bit of a special scenario, of course, because normally we wouldn't have these conversations back and forth already. But I want to show you how this works. So now the AI agent is working and it's sending the reply, the standard reply to the user. And so if we open WhatsApp again, you can see, hey Christian, welcome and thank you for reaching out. To get started, what is the minimum number of bedrooms you need and what is your budget? No. So let's do this, take a shortcut here. So, hey, our budget is 300K and we need 3 bedrooms minimum. Sorry, and I forgot to do this again. So this is when you're building the workflow, you're testing this, so you always need to activate the workflow. Again, so now my agent is working. I received the message via WhatsAble and it's working. It used my Google Sheet now. Great. So it went to my Google Sheet. It read all the properties, all the data. It structured the output and it sent a property. So it's using the other node to not send a standard message, but to actually send an image with the proposal text. So let's look. Yes, it worked. So here we have our photo that is a column in our spreadsheet, and then we have the message. Perfect. Thank you for providing that information. So that is all data that is coming from the Google Sheet. This is, again, so just to recap, this is an example, but what it means is that we can use internal systems, we can use whatever data source we have to actually already give some helpful information to the users, and we instruct the AI agent to only do that at a specific point. So yeah, that's the whole system. That's an AI agent to qualify leads. And as an input, it could be Facebook, it could be another form tool, it could be whatever you can think of. So yeah, that's it. Thanks a lot for watching this video. I hope it could give you some inspiration how you could build your own WhatsApp chatbot using AI and n8n. And if you do have any technical questions, if you have problems, feel free to reach out to me. Other than that, thanks for watching and see you in the next video.